No, is there anything that you tell candidates, when you got them on the phone, like, here's who we are, here's what we do, here's, or is it just skills, like, hey, I've got this job.
Right.
How much experience do you have with XYZ? Or
Right. Well, I feel like sales goes both ways. So, right, I'm trying to sell them the position, and then they're trying to sell me their skill set. And so telling them, and also selling TM Floyd, why they should pick TM Floyd and work with TM Floyd for a certain position. So I kind of start that way, going over the company, who we are, what we do, and then switch to the client and tell them a little bit about the client that we're working with, and then see how they could potentially be a fit for that position. And if it's not a fit, then we can change course and have a conversation, and then I'll pipeline them for future positions.
And when they get selected for an interview, what are some of the recommendations you can make for candidates to make sure that they put their best foot forward?
Confidence would be number one. Yeah, and practicing. If you have a friend and you're not used to interviewing via Teams, it can be kind of uncomfortable. And so maybe practicing with a friend, and just confidence. I feel like that really is helpful in going over your background, starting all the way from the beginning to where you are now and lessons you've learned along the way, and really highlight, things that are transferable to that position.
Okay. You mentioned, and I was going to bring it up, Teams video interviews. No longer, they seem to be the norm now. Any recommendations there as far as backgrounds or anything that they could do, should do with that?
Yeah, because if you haven't been in the job market for the last 10 years, you've not interviewed via Teams. So that can be very overwhelming for
Very
candidates.
much.
So I feel like practicing with a friend, a coworker, a family member, and really getting comfortable, making eye contact, not looking side to side, are all very important things to the manager sitting across from you.
And test the technology.
Yes.
Many hours before to make sure it works.
Yes, logging in a few minutes before and not
Right.
the minute before, to kind of calm your nerves and not rush in. And then, because if you can't get in the Teams meeting, then you're flustered, and it's not a good way to start an interview.
Not a good first impression.
No.
Yeah. So what about follow-up? So interview's over. What do you tell the candidates?
Definitely send a thank you note. That's very important, and especially with AI these days, you can help format a nice, email and send that to the recruiter, and then we'll get that to the manager. But just highlight why you are a fit for that position and talk about some of the things, their pain points for the position, and how you could help alleviate those for them.
Great. And then what about offer? So extending offers, anything from a negotiation standpoint? What should the candidates know when an offer comes? What should they be prepared for?
Well, also that they're in charge too, right? And make sure that they're asking all of the questions, benefits, PTO, all of that stuff. Make sure they understand what they're getting into, because again, it goes both ways. And then thinking before you're interviewing, could I potentially get a counteroffer from my current company? And if it's something that I would consider or entertain,
Great point.
Would be very important, so that if you do get that offer, you already have that mindset of, okay, I'm not going to accept a counter because this is going to be better for me. This was why I was looking in the first place.
And recruiters are there with TM Floyd every step of the way with the candidate. So always there for offering advice, counsel, all that kind of stuff, right? Because you guys have seen it all.
Right. And I think what sets TM Floyd apart is that we have someone in different departments holding your hand almost in every step.
Okay.
Through the recruiting process. Then you'll talk with the salesperson likely in the interview process, prepping you on the Teams call before you jump in with the managers. Background checks will, be a department, and then field services. So you really do kind of, in accounting also, so you really kind of touch with each department, and a question, you can always get your questions answered by someone.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jenny. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome.